Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Nomadic Millionaire Podcast, where we interview successful entrepreneurs that are looking to impact a million lives or more and leading the charge in remote work and living a life of freedom. So today we have a very special guest. Super excited to have a conversation with her. I have Christa Bella with me, and she is here in Bali as well. And yeah, excited to get into her journey and what she's all about. Welcome to the show, Christa.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let's just dive right into it. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your journey?
Sure. So I've been a digital nomad since 2013. That is when I booked my first ever one-way flight. I went to Thailand, like all new nomads do, basically. And yeah, now that it's about a decade later, I've been to 60 plus countries. I've been living in Bali, Indonesia for the past few years, which is, yeah, where we both are right now. And I have a business teaching people how to become digital nomads as well, which I learned through lots and lots and lots of experience being a remote worker, a freelancer, a remote employee, and just really trial and erroring all the ways, and also of like how to build my own coaching business. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, and I think we met back when we were doing the Nomad Cruise, or right after the Nomad Cruise in Colombia, and that was kind
Yeah.
of like my first co-living, co-working experience with other digital nomads. And yeah, you've gone on quite a journey since then. I remember we were masterminding and working on our business plans. And so, how's that journey since 2019 been for you?
Yeah, so since 2019, okay, so uh 2019, that's still several years into my nomadic journey.
Mm.
And at the time, I think my Instagram account was like a couple of years old at that point. I mean, I had been sharing about my digital nomad life and journey.
Mhm.
I kind of feel like I use this metaphor a lot, but I think when you're hiking and
Mhm.
someone is on top of the mountain, let's say you're at the top of the mountain, you've summited and you're seeing this beautiful view,
Yeah.
and all your friends are just 100 meters down below you, and they're like, no, we're actually just going to stay here. You at the top of the mountain would be like, get your ass up here. Like, no,
Right.
like you have to come see this. This is amazing, amazing, amazing. Even
Yeah.
if you're not financially motivated, you're just excited about getting people to come up and see this thing. So
Totally.
that is really like what I relate my nomadic journey to. And in 2019, I was just at the top of this mountain shouting about being a digital nomad to anybody who would listen. Not because I was getting paid to do that, but just because I genuinely really wanted to share the lifestyle. So as I was sharing the lifestyle so much with people, of course, everybody was asking, okay, cool. Digital nomading is great, but how? How do we do it?
Mhm.
So, pretty much out of popular demand, I launched my business at the end of 2019, my coaching business.
Yeah,
And since then, it's just really scaled. The pandemic was very supportive for
for
me
sure. For
in
sure. I
terms of
mean,
teaching the world that remote work is a thing, and I think everybody having this deep understanding of now why we want to work remotely. So everything's been
definitely.
really good.
That's amazing. That's awesome to hear. To see you scale up since back then. And I think like the pandemic really like obviously had this huge surge in remote work. People finally understood it. People were more comfortable with it. Whereas like a few years ago, people would just, think most digital nomads were strange hopping around working from different countries. But now you're seeing so much demand. And how's it been in Bali? Are you seeing more and more clients and just remote workers and nomads come here? Maybe not
Yeah,
remote workers, but
definitely.
remote
It's been
tourists.
just everybody is
Yeah,
coming to Bali right now.
yeah,
For
seriously.
anybody listening who isn't familiar, I
Mhm.
think you can accurately refer to Bali as the digital nomad Mecca. It's like people literally take a pilgrimage to come here when they're
Yeah,
like new digital
seriously,
nomads, or
for sure.
experienced. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, during the pandemic, it was really peaceful here, which was super special. but also it was tough to see the locals suffering without their tourist income. So,
Yeah.
even though the roads are heavily trafficked now and you have to make reservations if you want to go out for dinner, it's still for me like I'm okay with the number of people that are here, but if anybody's
Cool.
coming, you have to know what to expect. It's not a sleepy beach town
Mm-mm.
anymore. Those days are over.
Definitely, definitely. No, not at all. It's crazy busy here. So what kind of inspired you to become a digital nomad initially? And how did you, I think initially you were working for a company, if I'm not wrong, and then you decided to switch over to start your own business, right? So how did you get started and what inspired you?
So if we go way back in time to 2013, that was when I had my last corporate job. And I had been working in corporate for a few years, like working in marketing agencies. And I just was really burnt out and I think very disillusioned by the matrix, if you will. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
when I say that, I mean, I know you know what I'm referring to, but
yeah,
for anybody who's listening, I really just mean like societal expectations that everybody seemingly is just blindly following. Like, everybody is just accepting of the fact that what you quote should do is go to school, get a good job, make sure that your job has benefits, and then travel for 2 weeks a year because that's what your vacation time allows you. And then get married, have a baby, buy a house, retire, then travel, and then die. And like that's
right.
what everybody has to do. So at that point, I was like, wait, what the heck? Like, I don't like this. Like, I don't want this lifestyle. I want to travel the world now. So yeah, long story short, I booked a one-way ticket to Thailand, thinking that I would get a job as an English teacher, and I ended up getting a job as at a marketing company.
Okay.
So I lived in Thailand for a couple of years, and when I was there, I was looking around me, and in my office, at the bars, on the train, I was seeing all these people who were not Thai, like people
Mm,
from all over the world. And
yeah.
that was so interesting and mind blowing to me because I was like, wait, all these people had the same idea as me. There are other people out there that also want to live this sort of like more freedom focused lifestyle. And so,
Hmm.
yeah, pretty much ever since then, I think that experience gave me a lot of permission to not do what everybody else was expecting, like to not do the kind of like matrix system thing. And
Yeah.
yeah, just kept pursuing basically it was all just like, okay, I want more freedom. Okay, I have it. Oh, wait, no, I want more freedom. Okay, I want more freedom. So it went from being an expat with like a job then to being a remote worker with
Mhm.
a remote 9 to 5. And then the remote worker with a 9 to 5 thing, that was cool because I traveled a lot during that time. And it was nice to have that stable income. But
Yeah.
ultimately, still, I didn't like being tethered to somebody else's schedule. And I really didn't like the idea of making someone else money.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, when I became an entrepreneur in 2019, when I launched my business, that was really cool because launching my own business, now I can work on my schedule and every dollar that I make is ultimately
Yeah,
my money. So
for sure, for
that's
sure.
what motivated me. Yeah.
That's like true freedom, right? Time and location independence
Mhm.
as well as like time independence, being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it. And to allude to your story, I think it really helps when you see other people living that lifestyle like you did when you arrived in Thailand and you saw other expats and foreigners. It kind of puts a light bulb off in your head and you're like, oh wait, this is possible. Similar to now how you're seeing many people become digital nomads and you're helping people become digital nomads. So I think seeing that visibility is really important.
Yes, totally agree.
So how do you kind of could you describe maybe your typical day now as a digital nomad?
Sure.
If there's a typical day in Bali.
Well, I guess yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, oh, the days are pretty different. It
Yeah.
kind of depends on what classes are at the gym. But
Right?
basically,
Seriously.
yeah. like basically, if I have, let's say it's a particularly heavy work week, because my weeks change depending on if I have a lot of client calls or not. So if
Yeah.
it's a week that I have a lot of client calls, usually I'll take the call. Usually I'll have one call in the morning. So I'll be on the phone or on Zoom anywhere between like 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. And
Yeah.
then I'll usually go to the gym around noon. I'll work out for an hour, come home, take a shower, um, order lunch or go out to meet a friend for lunch. And then
Hmm.
I might do like some creative work for a few hours, like maybe from 3 to 5. Then I take my dog to the beach and I watch the
Nice.
sunset. And I usually run into a bunch of people that I know there. I'll go maybe out for dinner with friends or do a networking event. And sometimes I also have a call at night from like 8 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Okay.
And that's my day.
That's pretty sweet. Not too bad. And then, like,
Yeah.
have you been able to balance work and travel as a digital nomad? I don't know. I know
Yeah.
you're not traveling as much now, but I guess when you were like really moving around, how did you balance that?
Yeah, I mean that's the whole thing about being a digital nomad, right? Is that you're still making money, like you, and you're
Hmm.
working while you're doing it. So, I mean, the schedule that I just described, I could pick up that schedule and put it anywhere.
Hmm.
Like I could be in Portugal, I could be in Brazil. Maybe the times of my calls would change a little bit based on
Yeah.
where my clients are and what time zone I'm in, but yeah, I mean, I would probably pick up that schedule, put it somewhere, and then make sure that on the weekends I really disconnect from the internet and
Hmm.
I'm super present in the destination.
Nice.
So when I was traveling full time, like fully living out of my suitcase, it was really important to me to stay everywhere that I went for at least 3 weeks.
Hmm.
Because if you stay somewhere for 3 weeks, even if you're working you know, like a 10-hour work day, Monday through Friday, which, or whatever, if you're working
It's
a
a
lot, a
lot. Yeah,
lot,
yeah.
um,
Yeah.
but you're there for 3 weeks, you still have Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday. And that's six
True.
days to like fully be immersed in a new place as a traveler. And
Hmm.
I bet most people who are not digital nomads, 6 days in one destination is like a lot of time to
It's a
spend in
lot,
one
right?
destination.
For sure.
But yeah, like for the average traveler, like it's enough time to like really see all the different neighborhoods of a city. And of
Hmm.
course, when you're working, you also can walk to a co-working space or have dinner at like a cool restaurant or something. So it's 6 days plus
True.
plus plus a little bit every day.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's the balance is it's easier than people think. You just need to stay in the destination long
Hmm.
enough so that you can balance it.
Yeah, I think that's really key. I think a lot of people get caught up in like fast travel, and I would definitely recommend slightly slower travel as well, just so you could really experience the
Mm,
culture and get into some routines for sure. So let's talk a little
yeah.
bit more about like your now coaching business. Like, how have you been able to grow so rapidly in terms of your growth? I think how have you been able to bring your clients in, and what's that been like?
Yeah, so to put this into context for the listeners, because when I say I know how to get clients, like I
Hmm.
actually really know how to get clients. I
Yeah.
usually have anywhere between 25 and 70 active clients at any given time.
Wow.
And it's been that way consistently for years.
Hmm.
So, how do I find these people to pay me like multiple four figures?
Hmm. Yeah.
Well, I use social media, and it's not just using social media, but it's using social media effectively. Like,
Yeah.
so I would say the know, like, and trust factor is huge. Understanding how the algorithms work is huge. Leading with providing value. Like, if
Hmm.
anybody comes to any of my social media, if you want to come to Christabella Travels on Instagram or
Yeah.
TikTok or
Check
my
it out.
podcast, you're going to learn so much just
Mhm.
from my free content. And I think that really encourages, or like, when someone sees one post and they're like, wow, I just learned so much from this post. Now they're going to go binge all of your other content. And if you just have the same call to action at the end, like sign up for my free masterclass or whatever,
Mhm.
now they're really like committed to you and think that, okay, if I got this much out of free content, what will I get out of content that's, a small price or free? I just need to give her my email. And
Mhm.
then I have this master class where it's called How to Get Started as a Digital Nomad. It's linked in my bio if anybody wants to watch it. It's a 3-hour training. So to be fair, it's like
Wow.
really long. Most online courses, I think, would not even give this much detail or value. But of
Yeah.
course, at the end of the masterclass, I talk about how people can join my coaching program, which is called Digital Nomad Life Academy. And at that
Mhm.
point, by the time somebody hears me pitching my program, they already know, like, and trust me. And
Mhm.
they're like, yeah, I trust that this program is going to be as awesome as she says that it is. And then they sign up.
That's amazing. And then do you like you take them on a digital course, or is it more like personalized one-on-one coaching that you're kind of doing with them?
So, personalized one-on-one coaching is no longer scalable for my
Yeah.
business, and I really want to reach. I loved the intro to this podcast. You're like people that want to reach 1 million people. Wow,
Mhm.
I would love to wake up 1 million people.
Perfect.
I do love working with people individually. Like I love my work as an actual coach and holding space for people and really helping them have their mindset shifts.
Mhm.
However, I think because I've been honestly doing this for a really long time, I've been coaching for about 4 years and nomading for 10 and meeting
Mhm.
people for 10 years, like other digital nomads, hearing how they got started. I just, the things that are holding people back, there's like, 10 to 20 things that pretty much everybody falls into one of those categories. And
Yeah.
the method that they all should take is generally the same.
Okay.
So I've been able to create online course material that it's a little bit like choose your own adventure, but
Mhm.
everything and everything anybody could possibly need to learn is in the program. And there's a live call every single week where
Okay.
people can either be coached by me or one of my other guest coaches. We have
Mhm.
speed networking events. People can meet each other, like
Yeah.
really in like on Zoom anyway, and
Okay.
actually create deep connections with other people who want the same things as them. And also, I bring in lots of guest workshops, people to teach important skills like copywriting and messaging and SEO, social media,
Amazing.
stuff like that.
Okay.
So
So
it's
it's
very
really a
dynamic.
community. Very cool. Very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
That's awesome. Now, did you figure out this whole marketing funnel yourself, or did you yourself have a coach when you then, you decided to build out your program and go through the process? Or did you just kind of go on YouTube and learn everything yourself? Yeah.
No, I hired coaches. I
Yeah.
mean, I have spent a lot of money on coaches.
Hmm.
I for sure practice what I preach. I tell people to invest in mentorship, obviously, because
Hmm.
I am a mentor, and so I
Yeah.
get paid to mentor people. But I do it too. I mean, if you add it all up, honestly, over the last 4 years, I've invested at least $50,000, but depending on what you consider mentorship, it could be up to 70,000.
Hmm.
But it's paid off. So
Right.
mentorship is just so incredibly important. It helps you really fast track
Totally.
your success.
Totally. It's worth it. It's
So
kind
yeah.
of like a time hack, right? You save yourself that amount of time to learn it yourself, to be able to learn it from someone that really knows it. Amazing. So,
Yeah, I feel like
yeah.
not just the time, it's the effectivity as well. Like
Mm.
like I knew about funnels already and I knew what the
Hmm.
options are, but having someone who's already made all the mistakes, who can like analyze and look at what you're doing and be like, "Yeah, I see that you've technically followed the directions in
Yeah.
building this thing, but you didn't consider this psychology thing and this messaging isn't super clear." And
Mm.
yeah, just having someone have their eyeballs on it, that knows what they're talking about, I feel like can take whatever you could learn for free online. You might get like 30% results, but with a mentor,
Hmm.
you can get 100% results.
Yeah, for sure. I think having those expert eyes definitely help, especially in marketing. But yeah, any field.
Mm.
So could you maybe share any success stories of, memorable experiences from your time as a digital nomad? Also, any successful stories of people that have, like, what's your most memorable story of someone that you turned into a digital nomad, uh, and they've maybe come here to Bali
Um,
or somewhere else? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so many. Let's see. I mean, honestly, my program works, so I have
Mm,
a lot of success stories. But
nice.
I mean, one that's really present for me right now is a client that I'm currently working with. So we're recording this episode in May, and I started working with her in February.
Hmm.
So half of Feb, March, April. So it's been 3.5 months, and yeah, she just messaged me last night that she got her sixth client.
Oh, wow.
And when we started working together, she didn't even know that she was going to be a coach. So I
Mm,
helped her get clear on what she wanted to do in the first place.
yeah.
So yeah, coach, she decided, okay, yes, I do like the idea of coaching. I will go into being a coach. And then helped her get really clear on what her offer is, what her messaging is, what her unique value proposition is, then how
Hmm.
to effectively market herself and how to close the clients, close the calls, the
Right.
sales calls. And it's working. She's making money. She's got clients, and it's all just going to be
Amazing.
uphill from here. So that's a pretty like standard story, but
Yeah.
a magical story, a really
Yeah.
magical story, is the story of Kelsey, who
Okay.
is she was one of my very first clients ever, actually, and this is just the coolest,
Yeah.
especially because her story is like so surprising. So Kelsey, I think was 22 or 23 when we first started working together. So she had just graduated from culinary arts school. She wanted to be
Okay.
a chef. And she was a super talented chef. And especially after, getting her bachelor's degree, she was just so excited to enter into the workforce.
Hmm.
Kelsey is looking for a job when she graduates. So she gets a job, and this job is in a banquet hall at a Marriott hotel.
Okay.
Kelsey finds herself in a dark kitchen with no windows, making the same food en masse every single
Oh,
day.
wow.
There is no creativity literally at all.
Mm,
The hours were horrible. The environment was terrible. And Kelsey was really unhappy.
mm,
So, and she was working insane hours. Anyway, when she came into my program, she was like, I'm so disappointed. Like I really wanted to do something with cooking, but
mhm,
I want to be a digital nomad. So I take my clients through this career assessment process, and
mm.
I help them figure out like what transferable skills they have. And what came out of Kelsey is I was like, oh, interesting. Like, have you ever thought about being a content creator? And
Okay.
she was like, yeah, but like, how do content creators make money? And I was like, okay, don't worry about it. There's like a
Yeah.
million ways. It just you got to like we just need to figure out the one that makes the most sense for you specifically.
Hmm.
So she was like, "Okay, yes, I love this idea," and she's going to be a content creator about cooking. She's going to be a cooking
Amazing.
content creator about food.
Nice.
So Kelsey creates her TikTok account,
Hmm.
and she starts making videos, and she made this one video about how to hold knives properly. Like
Okay.
she was holding this like big butcher knife and like smacked it on the cutting
Wow.
board.
Uh-huh.
This video went mega viral. Like I think it got 4 or 6 million views in like a
What?
week.
Wow.
And yeah, and because of the way she had positioned herself, like in with her bio, and
Mm,
yeah, she just started getting offer after offer after offer
yeah.
to be creating content, to be like she's like on TV and stuff,
Really?
and
Wow.
she make money. She makes money a bunch of different ways. I think she also sells like cooking plans for people.
Hmm.
She's got a whole bunch of funnels. She's done master classes. So she's been able
Wow.
to take a skill, something that she loved that traditionally is like so physical, like literally
Yeah.
cooking. And she still was able to become a digital nomad doing what she loves.
Wow. That's wild.
And she's just killing it. Like
That's amazing.
she's making great money. And so yeah, that's just an example of
Yeah.
like for me, what's super important in the work
Hmm.
that I do is helping people come up with a digital nomad career that they actually love, not
That's
one that's just like, oh, you should be a drop shipper because digital nomads drop ship or digital
right.
nomads are all marketers. Like
Hmm.
you don't have to do any specific thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
That's
anyway,
that's
two stories for
pretty
you.
wild. I mean, yeah, it just goes to show you, you can even, yeah, you could be a chef, go from working in a dark kitchen to being a digital nomad. That's pretty wild. And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
congrats to her. Yeah. Uh, so yeah, with that being said, do you think it's still possible to feed people for people to go viral and build an audience, kind of like you did? I think you had a huge following on Instagram, and then following that, I think you've uh, done pretty well on TikTok. Do you think that's still possible?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. It's absolutely 100% possible. I mean,
Okay.
like I find Instagram to be more challenging to grow than ever, but if
Mhm.
you are just like really paying attention to what the algorithm the ever changing algorithm wants from you at any given time,
Mhm.
you can still grow for sure. And TikTok is just like again, you need to understand what the platform thinks is good content
Yeah.
and work with it rather than against it. But if you do, then yeah, you can definitely grow an audience on social media for sure,
Okay.
easily.
Cool. And where do you see social media going in the future? Like, I guess it's hard to predict, but like next
Hmm.
6 months, next year, and any tips you
I
may
don't
have.
know. Well, I would say like we're probably due for a new platform
Mhm.
sometime in the next like 3 years, I would say. So,
Yeah.
um, if if any listener hears of a new platform, get on it
Mhm.
because something that we need to understand as content creators is that we are the asset. Like I think
Mhm.
there's some statistic that says on any given platform less than 10% of users ever create content. And it might be 1% of users that create content consistently. So, on Instagram, well, Instagram has an absolutely massive usership. So even if
Mhm.
1% of people are creating content consistently, that's still a lot of people creating content.
For sure.
And so there's still like quite a bit of competition on Instagram. But on a
Mhm.
new platform, like let's say, I don't know, do you remember Clubhouse? Like it was pretty big in
Oh yeah.
2020,
Yeah, yeah.
or even 2021. So I was like, ooh, Clubhouse. And I just was like, if this is going to be the next big platform, I am going to figure out how to grow on it.
Right.
And I spent a month going deep into Clubhouse and I figured out how to get to 2,000 followers like within a
Okay.
month,
Nice.
um, which I felt really satisfied with. And like it's just easier to do that when you're on a platform where there's not that many people.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, I mean,
It
and
pays to be
also
early.
I guess looking at, yeah, it definitely pays to be early. Like on Instagram, 90% of my followers are from 2019 or earlier because that's when it was easier to grow.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
The what I'm trying to say is that on wherever there are people, there is an
Mhm.
opportunity to grow an audience, and an audience on any particular platform is no more or less valuable. It's just like how engaged are you? So
Mm.
you could also grow on LinkedIn. If LinkedIn is a relevant audience, I know LinkedIn has even fewer content creators, so it's way easier to grow on LinkedIn. And
Right.
like I don't know. I feel like people are like, it has to be Instagram, but it doesn't. Like an
Mhm.
audience is an audience is an audience is an audience, no matter where it
True.
is.
This is
So
true. Just got to find your
yeah.
people. Yeah. Do
Hmm.
you have like a content
Hmm.
strategy? Are you trying to be like, are you trying to make content every single day, or are you trying to make content for virality with a very specific goal? And so more quality over quantity.
Yeah, I'm more about quantity over quality. Although,
Okay.
I'm more about
Either
quality
way.
over
Cool.
quantity personally.
Hmm.
Just because I feel like I like to create content when I'm inspired, and I'm not always in that creative mindset.
Hmm.
Um, but if there is a new person, I would say starting off, you really actually should be focused on quantity like that because you don't
Hmm.
know what's quality unless you've put out a ton of content.
Hmm.
So at this point, I've been a content creator for years, and I know what people resonate with when I put it out there, and I have a really good understanding of what people who follow me like to hear from me.
Yeah.
So now I can focus more on quality, but at the beginning, you should be focusing on quantity to
Quantity, right.
understand what your quality is.
Interesting. Yeah, that and yeah, see what resonates, and also to kind of get in that habit of creating content probably is super important.
Hmm.
And so what's kind of, I know we've both been on the Nomad Cruise. Are there any other events, or do you have anything to say about these events that allow you to connect with others? I know you recently went on to another event in Miami. I don't know if you want to speak on that, and how do you see that
Yeah.
fitting into your journey?
I'm sure we've all heard the phrase before, your network is your net worth. But that is so incredibly true. Your network is your net worth, and we should all be investing in growing our network, investing time and money. Like you might need to pay to go to specific events in order to find your people, but and just trust that when you go do find your people, you're going to get clients, referrals, affiliates, just publicity, followers. Like there's just so much that you can get out of good networking, quality networking. So to go where your people might be. So yeah, I recently went to this event just a couple of weeks ago called Summit at Sea, which is really similar to the event that we met at the Nomad Cruise. It was
Yeah.
basically a conference on a cruise ship. But this conference, you had to be interviewed to be allowed on the boat, and you also had to pay like minimum $6,000 to be there.
Mm.
So, and it was like only a long weekend. So,
Wow.
yeah, basically, I was like, oh shit, this is a lot of money to go
Yeah.
on a experience.
Right.
It's just a lot of money in general, but also I knew that if I was paying that amount of money, then everybody else on that boat was paying that amount of money. And that means that everybody on this boat is playing at a certain level. And
For
these are the
sure.
people that I want to be surrounding myself with. So, yeah, on this boat, like I met people who I can collaborate with. In terms of business, I met people who like would love to invest in my business in the future. And
Nice.
there's also probably a lot of people that I haven't met yet, but I'm in a WhatsApp group with them now. And like
Amazing.
that network is going to continue serving me, I know, for years to come.
For
So
sure.
it was worth every penny and it was fun. But yeah, it's all about the networking.
That's
So
really cool.
yeah.
So, mm,
You also asked about other events too, just real quick.
yeah.
I'm going to this other event in June called Nomad Fest, which is
Hmm.
in Bulgaria every summer. So I'm gonna go meet other nomads because that's who I want to be surrounding myself with. There's also a lot of other things I've done, like Wi-Fi Tribe, which is a traveling co-living group. They have a network of, a few thousand people as well. So even though these networking experiences are more expensive than backpacking to specific destinations,
Yeah.
the network is really worth it. So
Totally.
yeah.
Totally. I agree. I would agree. And do you feel like you were able to leverage these relationships that you made through Wi-Fi Tribe and through Nomad Cruise to help in your business? I mean, because you're mostly surrounding yourself with digital nomads, right? But I'm sure it helped out. You learned a lot,
Mhm.
you know, during these events.
Yeah, so people that are on the Nomad Cruise are not my potential clients, because I'm
They
looking for
already
people
do.
who are not yet nomads but want to be nomads. So on the Nomad Cruise, they're not my clients. That's not what I'm going for. I'm going to be inspired by other people who have nomadic businesses because I want to learn from them. I want to learn,
Hmm.
like, I like a couple people that I met, even some talks that I went to, like really inspired me to make some key shifts in my business that really helped me increase my revenue.
Hmm.
Also, like, I know that people who know me like me and trust me, and they know that if I have a coaching business, that it's going to be good and quality. So I get a lot of clients through word of mouth referral as well. And the more people that know about my business, and know me and what I do, then that's more people that they can reach out to their network.
Hmm.
Because yeah, like at Nomad Fest or Nomad Cruise or Wi-Fi Tribe, for example, like uh every single person who is a digital nomad, whether they have an audience or not,
Yeah,
inspires other people. Like, it's just what happens. So
totally.
I think that even if someone's like a brand new digital nomad, if they are sitting in a cafe in an exotic place and they're on their laptop, some tourist is going to come up to them and be like, "Hey
Mhm.
man, what are you doing on your laptop? Like,
Yeah,
we're in paradise." And now the
right.
new digital nomad is going to be like, "Yeah, I'm a digital nomad." And if their business is not coaching people how to do it too, which there's not that
Mhm.
many, I don't have that many competitors,
Yeah,
that person in the cafe is going to be like, "Whoa, how do I do this?" Now,
exactly.
this new nomad can be like, "Oh, well, have you heard about Christabella Travels or the Digital Nomad
Right.
Life Academy? Here's my affiliate link and
There you go.
go check it out." And now we
That's
both get
amazing.
paid.
That's
So yeah.
that's amazing. So have you actually, speaking of that, have you actually been using affiliate marketing as a decent part of your revenue generation strategy?
Not effectively yet,
Okay.
but I actually like just came out with my affiliate guide and a new
Okay.
way for my clients to sign up. So I'll give you an
Cool.
affiliate link and
Awesome.
we'll put your affiliate link in the
Sounds
show
good. Yeah.
notes.
Make
So
sure you check it out.
anybody who clicks on it, you're going to get a great discount,
Perfect.
and also Rahul will get
Yeah.
would get like
Awesome.
a commission. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, I appreciate that. I think, I mean, yeah, it's quality stuff. I mean, Krista has been doing this for a long time. She knows what she's talking about. So, with that, do you have any tips for someone that wants to start being a coach today? Like, tips would you give them?
Yeah, if someone wants to start being a coach, I would say get yourself a coach. Because I personally don't think that somebody should go into coaching if they don't understand what it's like to be a client. Like, I feel like that's a really important part. So probably you want to hire a coach who will coach you one on one, just so that you can really understand what it feels like, again, to be in that container.
Hmm.
Um, and There are like coaching certifications and programs out there, and I'm not saying that they're all bad, but definitely there are some that are better than others, and there's no regulation. There's
Hmm.
no like central bureau that like approves certain coaching certifications. So just know that a coaching certification like is not real, in a way. Like, it's like the
Hmm.
certification is kind of made up,
Yeah.
and it can have so much value, or it can also be like not
Yeah.
valuable.
Detrimental. Yeah.
So just I wouldn't say it's ever detrimental. It probably, I
Yeah.
feel like whoever creates a coaching certification program, they probably do know something, but they might be creating it more to like only as a business model and not
Hmm.
as a way to actually like improve the industry.
Gotcha.
So just to like really make
Interesting.
sure you read a ton of testimonials, and if you are going to do a certification, read a ton of testimonials, not just about what the people learned, but
Hmm.
also like how their business transformed afterwards too. Um, yeah,
So is that
I mean,
something so did you go into your coaching certification back in 2019, or was it after the pandemic, or you've been
yeah.
doing it for a while?
So I'm taking the certification program now,
Now,
but
cool.
like not because I believe it's not because I believe in certifications. It's just because I
Hmm.
want to get better as a coach.
Sure.
I went into coaching after I had hired a one-on-one coach. And I was like, oh wow. Actually, she was like, you should go into coaching. And I was like, really?
Yeah.
Do you think I can? And
Yeah.
the concept about coaching is like we're not a therapist, right? So we're not doing deep mental health work
Right.
unless you're coaching in mental health. And then in that case, you probably should like be a little bit more educated. But
Hmm.
I think as long as you have life experience and life earned wisdom about a specific topic, you can go into coaching right away
Hmm.
and you can coach on that topic. But like I do think be careful about stuff that has to do with mental health. So when I
Yeah.
started, I hired a coach. I hired a business coach who she promised to help me monetize my Instagram audience. And
Okay.
so she was like, go into coaching for at least 6 months and just see what your audience wants from you. And you'll be able to talk to them deeply and intimately on your coaching calls. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll be a digital nomad coach. And I didn't even really know what that meant, but I knew that I knew a lot about digital nomadism at that point because I'd still been doing it for like years and years.
Yeah.
So I just called myself a digital nomad coach. Uh, yeah, people hired me to work with them one on one, and I got some of my clients' results. Like they booked their first plane ticket, they quit their job, and then
Yeah.
I started making note of like, okay, what are all the questions people are asking me? And then I hired another, and then I hired more coaches. I've worked with many
Mhm.
coaches, but then I hired more coaches to help me understand a different perspective of what it's like to be coached by a different person,
Mhm.
and also how to like really tap into the subconscious mind. um,
Mhm.
so I think like my coaching education, if you will, has been all like practicum,
Okay.
and now I'm doing a bit more like focused educational work, but
Sure.
there's no one specific way to do it because
Sure.
it's not a regulated industry.
Right, right. I mean, I think at the end of the day, experience really matters. And then if you can take that and then just get better at, you know, getting the information to the other person, that's great. That's a great end goal for sure. Um,
Mhm.
with that being said, what's kind of like so I don't know if you want to talk numbers, but you've scaled your coaching business quite a bit. You've hit certain numbers. Um, I know you said you want to impact 1 million lives. Where do you see what does the
Yeah.
future hold, and also maybe what challenges are you seeing with scaling right now as you are growing to so many clients?
So the biggest challenge that I'm dealing with right now is stepping into a CEO role,
Mhm.
which I just there's a big identity shift that comes with that I wasn't like mentally prepared for, I guess.
Mhm.
I feel like coaching, actually holding space for people, reflecting back to them, asking them the deep questions, and just
Mhm.
being a mentor for them was a very, very natural role for me. And I was immediately very good at it.
Yeah.
So that was great. And that helped me, have like an effective coaching business for years. Now, as I'm scaling, I actually don't have time to just be coaching people one on one.
Mhm.
um, I need to be now hiring other guest coaches to work inside the program, and I need a social media manager, and I need a copywriter and someone to help me edit videos and my podcast, and just like there's a lot of new people. So
Mhm.
and I need to be paying them and like looking at their schedules and making sure people are actually doing what they were assigned to do. And there's just a lot of like
Yeah,
delegation that
it's a lot.
I I mean, I'm learning a lot about that right now, and it's
Yeah.
hard, and I'm really like very much being challenged.
Mm.
So that's like tough, but that's okay. And yeah, you asked what was a challenge and what was the other half of the question?
Yeah, where do you what's your future? Where do you see yourself going? Are you gonna, well, one with your first with your business, and also I guess personally also, do you see yourself settling down in Bali, or you don't know, or you want to keep traveling at some point? Yeah.
Yeah, so let's see. So future of the business. I mean, it's going really well. So I think just keep doing what I'm doing at least for the next few years. Maybe someday when I don't want to be associated with being a digital nomad anymore, like if I have
Yeah.
like a baby, for example,
Sure.
maybe I'll want to actually coach on like something else.
Hmm.
And I do think I'll always want to be a coach. I just genuinely love it so much.
Yeah.
But I am taking a pause on coaching personally right now because I want to scale the business side. So I'm just going to work my ass off for the next 6 months and scale the business and
Yeah.
do the CEO thing, improve the marketing systems, scale my business to 7 figures,
Nice.
and which hopefully will happen in the year. I feel hopeful about that. So
Amazing.
yeah, scaling the business side, and then I think that in 2024, coming back to coaching, but maybe like separating my coaching business from the digital nomad business and
Okay.
having the digital nomad like program be its own thing, where the price point stays the same and the community just gets bigger. And then my
Hmm.
coaching, if somebody wants to work with me personally about emotional intelligence, shadow work, or business,
Okay.
then I can work with people, but it'll be a much higher price point because it's now like a separate thing. So,
Totally.
yeah, that's what I think.
Interesting. And it's more like all encompassing, maybe life coaching, maybe something you could do beyond when you're a digital nomad. So cool. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Mhm.
Have you, since we're in Bali, I'll ask this question. How have you found that being here and spirituality and, like you just mentioned, shadow work, how has that helped grow yourself as a person and your business? Would you credit it?
Mm. Wow, what a big question. So, for the listeners, if anyone isn't aware, Bali has this reputation of being this energetic portal of a place on Earth, and I feel like it's more than a reputation. It's like it just is like it just is this place where people from all over the world gravitate to and do a lot of deep healing work here. And it's kind of crazy, like that it's just so ubiquitous. Like you and I have not talked about spirituality. I don't know if we've talked about spirituality together ever before, but it's just like, you're like, yeah, because we're in Bali, how has spirituality been a thing?
Yeah.
And it is just a thing that like that's what
Yeah,
happens here and that's what the community is all about. So
for
anyway,
sure.
yeah, after living here for 3.5 years, it's yeah, like spirituality is so integrated into all parts of my life and my business. And it's a critical part of the success. Like, I think spirituality can mean a lot of different things to different people, but what it means to me is a connection to my own spirit, and not in a woo woo way, but just like who am I? Like who am I energetically? Not like my physical form and my name, but like what is my essence and why am I the way that I am, and how did I become this person, and how do I actually feel about this thing that I'm doing, and what is it that I believe that is either propelling me forward or keeping me held back. And so when I when I think about spirituality, it's like a connection to all of that, the energetic parts of myself. And that is what we are. Like, we are more like, yes, my physical body is the one that's technically typing on the keyboard, but that's not relevant to the business. What's relevant is actually how I am internally. So, to answer your question, any work
Yeah.
on myself, like spiritually, has been critical. Like figuring out what my limiting beliefs are and how to overcome them, and working on my confidence, and just healing shit from my childhood, healing my relationship with money. That's been a big, big, big one. So it's been everything, to answer the question.
Wow. Amazing. That is powerful. No, I think yeah, nailed the you hit the nail on the head. It's really connecting with yourself and really being able to express what are here to offer, right? So that is definitely powerful. And yeah, Bali is
Mm,
definitely like for those people that may not be familiar, you definitely feel it once you're here. And if you were not a spiritual person before, you probably will end up being somewhat connected to that. So
totally. Totally agree.
was there any specific, I don't know if you want to go to this, but any specific, was it like, did you jump into breath work and that made you more into that world, or yoga, or was there any specific modality, or you don't have to talk
Mm.
about it if you don't want to?
Um, I mean, so many, like,
Yeah.
so many things. I would say my kind of journey into this all started when I hired my first business coach,
Hmm.
who helped me understand that spirituality is just our energetic, it's like our connection to our energetic bodies. And that our subconscious mind holds the key to changing our lives. So I don't know if you or whoever's listening has heard this. They say that a relationship is the biggest mirror. Um, and I think that entrepreneurship is the second biggest mirror, because
Totally.
what a good business coach will work with you on is not just strategy. I mean, that's part of it. It's like, I think it's like, hey, here's a strategy, 10% of the call. Now the next 90% of the call should be, why are you scared of this strategy?
Mhm.
Does the strategy involve you showing up in social media? Okay, why is that scary? Oh, because you're worried about the bullies from high school, that and how they're going to judge you, and why are you afraid of being judged? Okay, what does that say about your self-worth? Let's go into that. And like, that actually is what is important with coaching. So I would say working with coaches has been the biggest and most important modality for me, because I think coaches are great for helping you build awareness of
Mhm.
what your limiting beliefs are and what your challenges are. And then awareness is the first step. Then the next step is healing your nervous system, which can be done through yoga and breath work. So I go to yoga like 3 times a week, every single week for years. I do breath work sometimes. So healing your nervous system, rewiring your subconscious beliefs. So hypnosis has been a big part of my life for that reason over the past few years, but also plant
Nice.
medicine and psychedelics, extremely, extremely effective if
Amazing.
used not recreationally,
Yeah.
but if used like super with a lot of intention and respect for the medicine. And yeah, I would say those are the main things:
Okay. Cool.
coaching, yoga, and
Plants.
plant medicine.
Lots of you.
Yeah,
Those are good. Those are good to start off with for sure. I think that's quite a
yeah.
bit. Awesome, awesome. So yeah, I think we've all learned a ton. Super appreciate you being here. I think I think people definitely got a lot of value, and especially if anyone's trying to become a digital nomad. Hopefully, you guys picked some stuff up here with our conversation with Krista. Is there anything else you want to say, Krista, and also where can people find you?
Yeah, so last thing I want to say is just like you said, if anybody wants to become a digital nomad, my message to the world is that you can. Like, no matter who you are, what your background is, how much education you have, how old you are, it genuinely, it doesn't matter. You can create a lifestyle. You can create the lifestyle that you want if you're willing to put in the work. And I'm not here to tell anybody that it's easy, but it's not that complicated. So it's not that complicated if you can follow the steps and you're willing to do the freaking work for it. So I will show you how to do the work. I will guide you through the steps, through the strategy, and also coach you through whatever is holding you back. And I do that inside of my program, the Digital Nomad Life Academy. That's where you'll also meet lots of other amazing people who also want to become digital nomads, who are already successfully doing it, and just really inspire the hell out of you, give you lots of permission to pursue a life of authenticity and freedom, and help you make lots of money. And anyway, it's going to be great. That is the DNLA, the Digital Nomad Life Academy. And
Amazing.
you can find us on Instagram at Digital Nomad Life Academy or at Christabella Travels, which is my personal account. So yeah,
Amazing. Amazing. Awesome.
that's
Yeah,
it.
definitely check out Krista's stuff. And yeah, it's super wish you all the best with your journey. It's been really cool to see you grow since 2019 to now. And I think you got, bright future ahead and lots of success too. So appreciate you being here for sure, Krista. And for anyone listening, thank you for joining another episode of the Nomadic Millionaire Podcast. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and that notification bell so you guys know. Also, drop a comment. Let us know what you guys think about the episode. And if you have any questions, I'm sure Krista can pop in there and answer them for you at some point. But yeah, just it also helps the content get discovered. So appreciate you guys being here and see you on the next episode. Thanks, guys.
Woohoo.